Happy 2015. First of all, I would like to apologize for the sound of my voice. I've had a pretty rough couple of weeks, health-wise. Um, I went home, back to Victoria for Christmas, and while I was there, I came down with the cold. And then when I came back here to Edmonton, I hurt my back. As soon as I got over my cold, I hurt my back and I could barely stand. And then as soon as my back started getting better, I came down with the flu. So my whole body's pretty much been just saying, screw you, you're going to have a rough start to 2015 for the last 2 weeks. But I wanted to wait a little longer until my voice was a little more recovered before I tried, before I tried doing any vlogging, but I'm sick of waiting, and I had some stuff I wanted to talk about. First of all, like I said, I went home for Christmas, and any of you who follow me on Twitter might have seen some of my tweets lamenting that fact. Believe you me, it gets harder and harder and harder to spend time at my parents' house every year. Wow. The last two Christmases especially, because I've actually had to stay at their house and didn't really have a space to myself. Like their house, it's a split level. The upstairs is where I grew up, but now it's rented. They rent it to some friends of theirs over the winter while they're typically away for most of the winter, save for a couple of weeks at Christmas. So they have some friends of theirs come, they rent out the upstairs, and they take care of the place while my folks are away. But they were still there over Christmas, so I didn't have my old room, didn't have the upstairs to kind of hide out in. So I was stuck in the guest room on a hide-a-bed. And I'm a big dude. I'm 6'7", and somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 pounds. And hide-a-beds and I do not get along. This one especially. So that was pretty rough. But then just being at home, being around my family, I couldn't really go anywhere. I was only there for a few days. But not really having my own wheels. I flew out this year rather than driving. Not really having my own car or any place to go to kind of have some free time was very difficult. Being stuck at the house was very difficult. And I kept saying to myself, God, I can't wait to get back to Edmonton, and being kind of amazed at myself over that fact. In truth, though, I do have to say I've made a bit of a life for myself here now. I've got quite a few friends now. You know, I posted on Facebook on like January 1st, I think, that 2014 was probably one of the best years of my life, because I've made an effort to get out and meet people. I have made more friends in the past 12 months than I've probably ever had in my entire life. So it's been a good time. I've been very happy. I've been very grateful to all of my friends, none of whom I'm sure are watching this, but if you are, you know who you are, and thank you for subscribing. I love you all. You're all great people. But being away from them for Christmas was hard. Being stuck with my folks was hard. I mean, I love my parents. I love my sister. I love my aunt and uncle and their 2 kids who were there as well, my grandma. But after a while, I just kind of need to step away. And that can be really tough when you're it's a big house, but their space isn't huge. Like, their downstairs portion of the house isn't huge. There's not really anywhere for me to go. I tried Christmas night after dinner. I tried to sneak off into the den to watch a little TV, and my dad came and practically grabbed me by the collar and said, "Come out here and socialize." I was very grumpy. That was actually the day that I really first started getting sick, and being around that many people and just kind of, and not sleeping well and being sick, and it was giving me a headache, and I just wanted to, you know, get away for a little while, and he wasn't letting me, and it really pissed me off. I'm sorry, Dad, but it's true. He's not watching this anyway, so screw him. But I was happy to go home. I was happy to see my folks. I hadn't seen them since August when I went home for BronyCan. It was my first time I'd seen my dad since he got his hip replacement. So I'm glad to see him mobile. He wasn't walking with a cane. He did have a limp, but he was moving around on his own, so I was happy about that. And it was nice to see my grandma, because she's turning 90 in February. This could be her last Christmas. Of course, we could have said that about any of the last half dozen Christmases, but still. But I was excited to get home for a variety of reasons. To see local friends from home that I don't get to see very often, but also I really wanted to dig through the storage room to find some stuff I wanted to bring back with me. First and foremost was my airbrush and compressor, because I really want to get back to doing some real, you know, industrial scale modeling. You know, just doing snap fit kits, just doing pre-painted kits, it's just not the same. You know, it's so much more fun to be able to do like a ground up repaint. And while I won't really have the time to do that as much as I'd like, I still wanted to have all of my supplies. Especially, there's a project I really want to get undertaking as a now belated Christmas present for my very good friend Brittany. And I won't go into details just in case she's watching. But I'm very excited about it, and I hope that she's going to really like it when I do get it finished. But it's going to be a couple more weeks, because I got to wait for it to warm up a little bit outside, because I'm going to have to paint on the patio like I used to, since I don't have a spray booth here or any sort of facilities for indoor painting, nor would I really want to, considering this is a rented apartment. You know, if it was my condo, I wouldn't really care, because the damage, it's my problem. But I'm responsible to this place on behalf of somebody else, so I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to have to, you know, lose my security deposit to, you know, have to have the whole place repainted in, you know, whenever I decide to move out. But in addition to digging through and finding my airbrush and supplies, I found a bunch of toys I wanted to bring back, a few models that I had built years ago, as well as a big box of unbuilt kits. I think all stuff from Mobius that I had bought years ago that I really wanted to do way back when and never got around to. Some of which I think I've done unboxing videos of, some of which I haven't. I'm going to dig through my past videos and see which ones I have and haven't, and I'll probably do unboxing videos of those kits that I haven't. But like I said, mostly Mobius kits, mostly Battlestar Galactica stuff. We got the Battlestar Pegasus. We got the Cylon Centurion. We got the Cylon Raider, which I'm probably going to get started on tomorrow. The Dark Knight Batpod and Batman figures to go with it. And the other box, I had these both mailed back to me because there was no way I was going to be able to fit all of this in a travel bag. The other box contains my trusty compressor. Oh, how I've missed you. I can't even fathom how many millions and millions of liters of air I've blown through this thing. Unfortunately, the one thing that I could not find in the storage closet was my airbrush. God help me, I dug through every single box, every bin, every corner, I looked in everywhere in that storage closet. And God help me, I could not find it. So, what choice did I have? I bought a new one. this is my third, the VL by Posh. So including the, now I would have had two, back when I first started airbrushing, I used to use the Testors Aztec series, because they're a really great place to start. They're a really great introductory airbrush. These are a little more advanced, but I like them a lot. Now, I think I had used up 3 Aztec brushes, and now I wore out one Posh VL, and then now I've misplaced my second one. So like I said, now this is my third one, which would make this my 6th overall airbrush. And hopefully this will be the last one I have to buy for a really long time. Because my last one, actually, I think I bought it in like 2007 or so, give or take. So it lasted me a hell of a long time. I only had to replace it because I couldn't find it. And incidentally, I bought this on Amazon, Amazon.ca. Normally, I went looking locally for these, for any kind of Posh VL set that I could get my hands on. And they were all retailing for in the neighborhood of $125 to $145. Amazon.ca, $75 free shipping. Oh yeah. I was debating on whether or not I should even just go like downsize to something a little bit simpler, a little bit cheaper, like maybe going back to an Aztec or maybe trying an Iwata brush. I actually don't know how much Iwata brushes cost. They could be way more expensive. I have no idea. I've never looked into them. But when I took a look on Amazon, I didn't even originally plan on looking on Amazon because I hate shopping online if I can buy locally. I just did a Google search for Posh VL and Amazon link. I'm like, okay, wait, $75? That can't be right. Is that the model I want? Holy crap, it is. Click. Sold. I paid the extra $4 for 1-day priority shipping, but much to my disappointment, it did not arrive in 1 day. It took 2 days, so I paid the extra $4 for nothing. But whatever. If it had taken, 2 days, because actually it arrived on New Year's Eve. So if it had not arrived New Year's Eve, it would not have come until like the following Monday. In which case, then hell yes, I would have called Amazon and I would have raised a huge stink. And might have gotten it for free, but certainly would have gotten a big discount. Because I would have been very, very grouchy. Even though I can't do anything with it, there's no real time crunch for why I needed it then. But I still would have, been an asshole about it. Because, hey, cheap is cheap and I'm not working super reliably at the moment, so I could use that extra money. But I've never done an unboxing review of an airbrush, so let's take a quick peek at this thing, see what we got. So, as I said, this is the VL set model by Posh, made in the USA since 1904. So it's quite a pedigree. They've been around for a long time, but this basically tells you exactly what you get. You get your airbrush body with all relevant components. You get a color siphon cup, you get a metal siphon cup, you get a spare paint bottle, you get a wrench, a series of extra tips, needles, and an airbrush hanger. Backside of the box describes the different sets that you can get. This is the version I got. This version is basically identical except that it has a screw-in type of siphon cup. So instead of just being, snug fit, this one you insert the siphon cup and you twist the knob to tighten it up. And these two, the only difference between this side and this side is this one has this side has a metal rear housing rather than plastic, and allows access to the needle directly without having to unscrew the rear housing. I generally operate my airbrush without that rear housing on anyway, just to make it easier to pull the needle in and out. So there's not really any advantage to getting this, and I've never even seen the VLS set with the chuck ring anyway, so I'm quite happy with the set as I got it. You got your manual, details all the different parts, how to clean it, strip it, written in several different languages, I believe. English, French, German, Spanish maybe. I'm not quite sure what else. But actually, there's a couple of different books. You got your lessons, and then you got your manual. And then warranty card. Inside the box, you got your air hose, which I'm not going to need because I have the other air hose from my old brush still attached to my compressor. So as long as this coupling still fits from the old one onto this new body, I'll be okay. I won't need to switch it. Your brush body itself, double action. As I said, I usually operate mine with this back cover removed, but there's no real reason for that. It's just for my own convenience. Comes with the standard number 2 needle installed. This version is actually a little bit refined from what I'm used to. The old version, the tips were a little bit different. It's kind of hard to explain how, but this collar here was a little bit different, and the protective cap actually had the needle nozzle built into it, as opposed to in the collar here. You got your metal siphon cup, your open top siphon cup. You got your glass bottle siphon cup, which actually has a different design on it than previous types that I'm used to. You got your standard extra glass bottle. You got your wrench. You got your hanger, which this simply you can screw this onto a desk or a table, and just simple as that. You got your spare needles, your number 1 and your number 3. Your 1 is your fine line, your 3 is your broad area. They come with this little blue marshmallow to protect the tips, but I will be getting a larger jar or bottle, like maybe a mason jar or something to keep the spare parts in. And you've got your extra tips. You got your needle nozzles and collars and whatnot, other bits and pieces. So that is what comes in the VL set. So like I said, I was very excited to find this thing on Amazon for as cheap as I was able to get it, because I can't really afford to buy a $130 airbrush right now. I am still working. Actually, I've been off sick for this week, but I am still working in that once I'm healthy again, I'm able to go back to work on Monday, provided I don't catch Ebola or something in the next 48 hours. Considering the luck I've had with health problems recently, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm on light duty. I'm not equipment operating at the moment because we don't have any job sites running because it's too damn cold. Yeah, the work season around here basically runs from April-ish until November-ish. But because of reasons, which I won't get into here, I got tapped to work in the office in the off season, but they limit you to 40 hours a week. So basically what I've been doing is just some data entry. They've got a new computer system that they're getting started for doing like purchase orders and work orders for equipment repairs and parts and bills and whatever, this and that. And the whole system is completely new to everyone in the shop, so they've been having me learn it, and I'm gonna have to teach it to everybody else, which is kind of interesting, because it's a program I'd never heard of before a month ago. It's not super complicated, but it's advanced. But I've been learning a lot, and I'm pretty excited about it. And it's certainly better than sitting on my butt doing nothing and collecting unemployment for the whole winter, like I did for most of last year, save for 3-4 weeks here, 2 weeks there. Yeah, most of last winter I was not working. There was a 3 weeks before Christmas. There was a couple of weeks in January. I worked for most of February, but I was off for most of March and April. Didn't get back to work full time until May. So, yeah, last year was pretty meager in terms of winter work, but this year I'm looking to do pretty well for myself in terms of the kind of hours I'm going to get. So, I won't be making millions, but it'll be enough to pay my bills and put some food on the table. So that's nice. So that all having been said, I think, like I said, I'm going to try and get started on the Cylon Raider maybe tomorrow, get some basic assembly done, and then hopefully we'll get some decent weather next week, because I've got afternoons free. They've got my weekly schedule is 7 a.m. to 3:30, which super dumb, especially since I hate mornings. I'm no morning person at all. But it does give you afternoons free, and at least, with it getting dark as early as it does, at least I get home by 3:35. So I got a couple hours of good daylight before it gets dark. So as long as I can get a day where it's, not too cold, like maybe freezing plus or minus a couple degrees, I should be able to get out on the patio and do some painting. At least as an experiment. I have no idea if that's going to be too cold to paint or not. I hope not, because once the weather warms up, then we'll be going back to work, and I'm certainly not going to have any time to do any modeling. So, yeah. So that's pretty much all there is to say about that. I will be doing unboxing videos for probably the Pegasus and the Centurion. I think those are the only two that I know for sure I never did unboxing videos of. Though, as memory serves, I think I shot one for the Pegasus when I first bought it back in 2012, which turned out to be like 3 days before I moved to Alberta in the first place, so I never actually edited it or put it online because I didn't have the time. So, too bad I don't have that original footage anymore. I just edit that and post it. But no, I think I'm going to do a new one probably this week. Put that together and show it off, because it's a really nice looking kit. I'm really eager to get that thing built. I really wish I still had my Galactica. It's at home. I wasn't able to get it here. It's too fragile to mail or to put in a suitcase or anything. So I'm actually surprised that the stuff that I did bring back in my suitcase didn't get damaged at all. I'll post some pictures along in the video, but my set of 3 Zaku's and my master grade Zaku's and my master grade Gelgoogs I brought back, along with a bunch of my Hot Toys 12-inch like 1/6 scale figures. I brought those all back with me in my carry-on. I'm sure when they went through the security scanner, they probably drew some strange looks from people, but hey, whatever. But yeah, I was happy to get those here because those have all been in storage for a long time, and I was really eager to get them, on display. So they're all on my shelf now, but that kind of took up all the space that I had, and I really was leery about the idea of the Galactica making that trip. Not to mention, it's not in great shape anyway. A couple of little pieces have broken. So, someday I may just do another one, even though that's probably one of the best models of its kind I've ever done. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do the original Series 1, put it alongside the Pegasus and see how that looks. But anyway, all that said, that's pretty much all there is to say. So thank you everyone out there for watching. Happy New Year, and happy modeling.